tagged this season, one of them getting a transition tag. That is Daniel Jones getting the transition tag from the Colts. It's worth $37.8 million, but he is now free to negotiate with other teams. The deadline is July the 22nd. The Colts reserve the right to match any offer sheet that anybody puts forth. The other side of this is that because they're using a tag on Daniel Jones, they did not tag Alec Pierce. That makes him a free agent. Also breaking from the NFL at this hour, the Cardinals cutting Kyler Murray. They would owe him around $37 million guaranteed for this upcoming season. Another $20 million or so would have triggered on March 15th. But our Jonathan Jones reporting that this move was expected even before the season was over. The league anticipated a release, so no one made a trade for Kyler Murray because they knew that he would be available. So that's where we're going to start. Chris Hassel, Amanda Guerra, Kyle Long, Pete Prisco. Kyler Murray is out there. Where do we expect him to be next season? Will he be a starter?
Well, all the quarterback-needy teams are going to be making calls on him. I mean, here's what you have to ask yourself. What's the price going to be? And is the price going to be higher than what Malik Willis will get? Will the price be higher than what anybody else on the market?
Who would you rather have?
Kyler Murray. No question about it. Kyler Murray has played games. He's got experience. We don't know what Malik Willis could do. He's only started 4 games, and there's a small sample size. Look, did Kyler Murray have some issues? Yeah, but he's had some good games, and he's had some good years. So I do think that there's going to be a market for him. The question you have to ask yourself, if you're in that market, is, are you committed to him for the long run? And the reason I say that, let's use the New York Jets, for example. If they were to sign Kyler Murray, is he their guy? Are you giving him a long-term deal, or are you making him the stopgap guy until you go into the draft next year, which should be a good quarterback draft? I think those are the questions you have to ask. Where could he go? Let's look at the quarterback-needy teams. Let's start with the Jets. Makes sense. They don't have anybody. But what are you giving him? Are you giving him a 1-year deal, 2-year deal? How are you doing? Are you giving him the Justin Fields deal, 2 years, $40 million? Is he going to take that? The Vikings, they don't have any cap room, and he doesn't seem like a fit in that Kevin O'Connell offense. The Steelers, it looks like Rodgers is going to come back. If he doesn't, I think they could be in play. But where else? Miami? I mean, Miami could be another team. How about this one, the Atlanta Falcons? And the reason I say that, we don't know where Michael Penix is in terms of his health coming off that 3rd knee injury. Are they committed to Michael Penix? This is a new regime. Matt Ryan is in there. Also Kevin Stefanski, the coach. So I think that's a possibility. And I'll give you one more. This will sound crazy, but the Cleveland Browns. We know that Todd Monken likes mobile quarterbacks. When you look at Shedeur Sanders, that's not exactly who he is. When you look at Deshaun Watson, that's not exactly who he is. So could he be in play there for the Cleveland Browns?
I really love some of those ideas, including the Atlanta Falcons. And when I think about playing certain teams, each team presents different issues. You know, when I played against, let's call it the Detroit Lions from the mid-2010s, it was a toughness battle. You had to go against Ndamukong Suh, Nick Fairley, Willie Young for 70. It was a decision you had to make every play. When you're a defense playing against the Atlanta Falcons, you have nightmares all over the football field. You add Kyler Murray and his athleticism, his arm talent into that, oh my goodness. And there's nobody that I trust more in the evaluation process of quarterbacks than my old colleague, Matt Ryan. So that one really seems to be interesting. And the Malik Willis conversation is interesting too. And I think I'm in agreement with you. Kyler Murray, more expensive than Malik Willis. We don't know if Malik Willis is a Matt LaFleur merchant or not. We've seen Kyler Murray do it a number of times throughout his career. Is he going to take it seriously at this juncture? It's an opportunity to turn over a new leaf, introducing yourself to a new locker room. Most of the complaints we've heard about Kyler Murray come from what? In the meeting room, at home, off the field. This is a new opportunity.
Here's the other part of the equation is now Malik Willis you hear the Cardinals are interested in Malik Willis. He might be the guy taking over for Kyler Murray in Arizona. And Jimmy Garoppolo's in play in there as well if they decide to go that route. But I think Malik Willis could be taking Kyler Murray's job in Arizona.
You and I both know it'll take no more than 20 minutes of practice for them to know if they had the right or the wrong decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's always an interesting thing.
You're paying a guy a boatload of money who's played 4 games. There's risk in that.
Yeah.
Mac Jones still out there also. Let's talk about another quarterback. The Colts deciding to place the transition tag on Daniel Jones today. Pete, you seem to think, look, this does mean they can't tag Alec Pierce. We're going to get to that in a second here, but they are headed toward a long-term deal with Daniel Jones.
Because $37 million is a lot of money for 1 year on your books for Daniel Jones. Could they handle it? Yeah, but you're going to limit what you can do in terms of being able to bring in people who can help them, including Alec Pierce. So I think in the next couple of days, I think we'll see them get a long-term deal done. I don't see a market out there for him for teams that want to go out and try and sign him. And I don't think there's a place for him where he would feel comfortable. He's not going to the Jets because the Jets, New York, he was there already. I don't think he's going back there. The Vikings, he had an opportunity to go back there last year and didn't go there, and they don't have any cap room. So where's he going? The other part of that is teams don't like negotiating the transition tag numbers because they feel like they're doing the work for the other team. For example, if I'm the Jets, I negotiate a deal with Daniel Jones. I do all the work. I put it in there, and then all of a sudden the Colts come back and go, nope, we're matching it. You did their work for them. So teams are reluctant to do that. I've seen teams have done that and had the three. I remember back in the day when I covered the Jaguars, they had 3 guys they signed in transition tags, including Aeneas Williams, the cornerback, who was a great player. Every single one of them went back to the other team. So you don't like doing the work for the other team either.
I'll say this about Daniel Jones. Number one, he ain't 100% healthy. I mean, you can say what you want, but I ain't paying $40 million for Daniel Jones, healthy or injured. But I'll say this about Daniel Jones. He earned the respect of the guys in that locker room, and that's one of the hardest things to do in the National Football League. So for his sake, I hope he does end up with the Indianapolis Colts, gets back on the horse again, and has a good year, a healthy year.
Sometimes you're more valuable to your own team than you would be to a new team. And I think Daniel Jones knows that. I think the Colts know that, which is why I think he's ultimately going to get a long-term deal from them.
Now, when he was healthy, they were rolling earlier on this season, and we saw what happened to them after he got hurt. His top target, Alec Pierce, not tagged. Doesn't mean he's not going to be an Indianapolis Colt, but we had Jonathan Jones on earlier, and he said he's hearing from some teams that this guy could make maybe $40 million a year, which would be more than Daniel Jones would make on that transition tag. That would make him, put him top 2 in the NFL as far as wide receivers in payment.
I love Alec Pierce. That's getting crazy. Let's be real. You're getting crazy. He's not Jamar Chase. He's not Justin Jefferson.
Chase is the only one who makes $40 million.
Well, and he's a
but availability can dictate that.
He's not Smith and Jigba. He's not Puka Nacua. He's a good player, not a true number 1 wide receiver. He just isn't. I mean, look, I love the yards per catch. I'm a big yards per catch guy, and he's led the league 2 years in a row doing that. I mean, he's a big play threat. But you could also point to those catches. 37 and 47. You're going to pay a guy who's had that number of catches the last 2 years, that kind of money? I'm not doing it. You go through this list. Who's he better than on the list? He's not better than. Keep going. Let's go down.
I don't even think we have anybody past 10.
He's better than Ayuk. Because Brandon Ayuk doesn't want to play football, but
Brandon Ayuk is missing in action.
He's better than Ayuk. That's a bad contract that they gave him. He's better than Ayuk. McLaurin doesn't run like him, but some people would say McLaurin's better. But the point is, you're not paying him. I'm not paying him $40 million. I love the kid as a player. He was on my Better Than team way back in the day. But the reality is, he's not a $40 million a year wide receiver.
Is there a team desperate enough to do that?
There might be.
In the Northeast?
Because you see the vertical threat. You say to yourself, look, we're playing in a league now where offensive coordinators are scared of their own shadow. They don't throw the ball down the field.
You think Rams?
They let teams dictate to them. They don't have the money to be able to do that.
But that's the kind of guy you'd want.
That's the kind of guy you would want. Buffalo.
Patriots?
That's
Buffalo.
what I was thinking initially.
Buffalo,
Patriots.
Bills? Yeah.
Patriots. Those kind of teams. Drake May and Alec Pierce. I mean, Josh Allen and Alec Pierce. That would make
Josh Allen downtown to Alec Pierce. I can see it now.
How about Patrick Mahomes and Alec Pierce? I mean, those are the kind of guys you want, guys who can stretch the field vertically. I love his game. I just don't think he's a true number 1 wide receiver. And if you're paying a number 2 receiver or a 1A receiver 1 money, sometimes you get in real problems with that.
If you could get Carnell Tate in the draft?
I would take Carnell Tate in the draft. Cheaper, younger. Doesn't run like that, though. He didn't run a great 40 time, but he's my number 1 wide receiver in the draft. I would take that before I would take.
Volume catcher.
Yeah. I mean, you could find wide receivers. And I just don't think he's a true number 1. I think he's a very, very good player. I just don't think he's a true number 1.
If you are interested in mock drafts, the reason I asked that because Ryan Wilson in his latest one does have the Bills trading up to get Carnell Tate. It's very interesting. Check that out on CBSSports.com. Okay, running back information today. So Super Bowl MVP, I just want to mention before you get to this guy, Breece Hall, the Seahawks will not be tagging him, but the Jets deciding to tag Breece Hall. Pete, your thoughts on this?
The money for him is right. He was the number one back on the market. There's no, at least in my mind, there was no question about that. He was better than ETN. He's better than Kenneth Walker. So I get this. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's got so much flexibility. But you get him, and what do you do with him when you don't have a quarterback? That's the problem. I mean, they don't have a quarterback, so he's going to have to do everything and anything until they decide what they're doing at quarterback. You hear Derek Carr's name mentioned. They might try and he might come out of retirement and pry him loose. I don't think the Jets are going to be a very good team with him or without him because of the quarterback position. So, look, is he a good back? Yes. Is he a great back? No. But he's one of those guys you want to keep around. I think tagging him was the right decision.
Yeah, they have a lot of needs in New York offensively, but one thing that they don't need is a guy named Breece Hall. He's already in the building. Keep him there. You run the football with him. You can throw with him. And to your point about the quarterbacks, I mean, you're going to be in a position a lot of times where you're going to be playing from behind, so that running back position gets devalued a little bit. But you need Breece Hall in your room.
Yeah, they're not winning with Breece Hall if they don't have the quarterback. I mean, let's be real. And you know what? They should. They should tank for next season. Get a quarterback.
Draft him, run him into the ground, get rid of him.
Tank for a quarterback.
So we had 4 tags on 4 different positions. Hall, the only running back. Daniel Jones, the only quarterback. Kyle Pitts, the only tight end. And George Pickens, the only wide receiver. How about the report, Keith? Oh, Keith. Pete?
Keith. I'm now Keith, huh? Who's
I
Keith?
thought I was Keith.
Keith?
Keith, where's Keith?
Get in here.
Keith and Kyle.
A report that the Cowboys are working on a long-term deal for George Pickens.
And that's the right thing to do, and I think they'll get a long-term deal done for him. I just don't see George Pickens being all happy about playing on the franchise tag, and we know when George Pickens isn't happy, that's not a good thing. He was happy last year. He played his best football. It's a great situation for him opposite CeeDee Lamb. And, you know, the Cowboys, they're all in this year, so it makes sense
Can they get this done, though? Like, I don't want to see, like, a Micah Parsons situation again.
Well, I think they'll get it done. You know, his agent is the Micah Parsons' agent, Mulligetta, so it's going to be a problem to negotiate that deal. But I think new Jerry Jones will get this deal done in large part because I think Pickens will be a problem if you don't get it done. Give him the contract, make him healthy, and then you might have not as much problems with him.
It's the right thing to do. Good luck guarding that guy. When I was playing, there was only a handful of players I would leave the bench to watch play. Okay, you know, like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, those guys. As a viewer of the sport, there's only 2 guys I would pay more money to watch play football: George Pickens and Myles Garrett. Okay, I think George Pickens, when he's on the field and the 6 inches between his ears is the right, you know, space, that guy is unguardable and can't keep your eyes off television. I think for Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys, it's the perfect move.
And by the way, I still think CeeDee Lamb's better than George Pickens, but it's nice to have both of them.